G'day there folks, it's Kim from Kim's Homestead here in slightly overcast, slightly windy Victoria, Australia. How are you today? Well, I'm going to be doing a few little jobs around the yard or garden today, and I thought I'd bring you along with me. So at the moment I'm just going to be pruning my tomatoes and making sure that they're staked up properly. So here we go with a bit of an unruly tomato plant, and as you see it's got a lot of lower leaves on it, which by the silver tracks on it we've got snails crawling up it, which is not what we want. So I'm going to take off all the lower branches . And definitely anything that might be touching the ground. As well as any weeds. Now we should be getting a good rain over the next couple of days, so this is the perfect time to do it. And at the same time I'll take out any suckers on the plant. Now the suckers are what grows in between the armpits of the plant. There we go, see this one here? This is not what we want, so I'll just pop that one out. It comes out nice and easy, especially at this stage. Later on, if it was a branch like this, I would have to cut it. But we'll leave some of the branches on so that we have good photosynthesis. There we go, and that one's ready for staking. So I won't stake it right now because I've run out, so it'll have to wait until I take a trip to Bunnings. So, and then with the capsicums, a lot of them I will just be taking the tips off of, and that will encourage the capsicums to reshoot and to produce more fruit. So what I have here also is some soft drink bottles, which has been staked through the lid part. That keeps it in the ground. Then I just push it into the ground a little bit, like that. And then that is where I water from. It's also, I do have some dried seaweed chunks, which often I'll just put a chunk in there, and every time I water, the plant will also get a quick nitrogen boost. Okay, here we go with a capsicum. It's got quite a bit of fruit on there. But I will be taking off all the lower leaves once again. This is actually one, or most of these ones are ones that I have overwintered. So they do tend to be a little bit scragglier. that's the lower part done, and that cleans it up nicely. Pull out any weeds. Now you've got some nice young shoots coming up here. They're probably a little small to top just yet, but that one's coming along nicely. Pull out any weeds and they will become food for the soil. Okay, first job done. Well, as you see guys, I have quite a bit of work to do in the chook house. What I have to do is all this green stuff down here the chooks have been sorting through. It's all got to be chopped up a lot smaller. The compost bin in the centre, I need to take the outer ring off it and take the top layer off so that I can get to the compost underneath. And then I've got to clean out the chook shed and put some more bedding down, or nighttime straw or wood shavings, probably wood shavings, I find that's best, which I'll use. That is good brown material. So as I put a new layer of green, chopped greens in the compost bay, once I've finished getting all of what I want out, I will put a layer of that brown material on top, then another layer of chopped greens, then another layer of brown material, and that should heat up fairly well. And what I will do with the top of that is sprinkle in some seed, maybe some chicken scratch or even just wheat if I've got it. And yeah, so the chooks, that will encourage the chooks to scratch around in it, and that will keep turning over the top of the compost. Then I can just add more materials as I've got it. I've got some straw here for the chooks' new nesting boxes, and what I do, because our straw comes with a lot of seed, I sprinkle it out on the ground. They have a wonderful time going through it and eating all the seeds and so forth. And then once they've thoroughly scratched through it, I line the nesting boxes with it, and with a few bay leaves and whatnot, which helps deter lice. And what's left over will be hopefully pretty much seed free, and that will go on the top of my veggie beds, mainly my potatoes this year. My vegetable beds in the wicking beds I'm going to rest this year. That's after I finish topping it up with chicken compost. Our summers here get to 45 plus Celsius, and I've just found that growing stuff, even in wicking beds, it's really difficult. Some things you can grow, but other things, it's just not worth it. And frankly, I've got enough food put away probably for the next 10 years, but anyway, I really don't need it this year, so I may as well fill up the beds and compost it all, put in a layer of straw and let the worms have at have at it for the next few months until it's mid-autumn, when I will probably be planting my next lot of crops. So I'll bring you along in bits and pieces here, and you can see the progress. Now, I probably won't get all this done today. My feet are pretty sore, so I'll be doing it as I can. But anyway, you'll get the finished product, and I hope you like it. So the first thing I'm going to do is rake up all this green stuff and put it in a nice big pile out in the sun so it can wilt down, and then I will lift that bit there that the compost is in, and what I don't use, the chooks can spread it out, and I'll just rake it into a pile ready for the fresh compost. First load of compost ready to go, and it's all in a nice big pile, and the girls are already hard at work getting rid of all those pill bugs, nice fat worms, adding their own little nutrients to it. I think this will be one and only trip for today. So I was going to work on the compost this afternoon and keep topping up my garden beds, but today I had the paving guys turn up and pulled out a lot of the pavers that we have here, and Barney just thinks it's wonderful. I've put in a great big play area litter box for him, and he's been having a grand old time pushing around the clods of sand and just having a general bit of fun on a wet day. He's having such a great time, and boy is it fun to watch him. But anyway, this afternoon I'm going to be on snail watch. I've been getting out buckets and buckets and buckets of snails out of the garden. So that's what I'll be doing this afternoon. Yes, and these are the little blighters I'm after. So I just pick him up, and over here I have a great big bucket and it's all full of snails, and I just plop him in. Inside the bucket I have filled it with water and a really good splash of vinegar, and that kills the snails pretty much straight away. And here we go with another one, having a feed on my plant. Not anymore. Here's another one. And in the bucket he goes. Here's another one on the fence. And in the bucket he goes. And that's what I'll do on a wet day. And hopefully I can start ridding my garden of the millions of snails that are here, left by the tropical plants I pulled out. I think it was a big breeding fest. Well guys, this is where I'm going to end this video, otherwise it's just going to become a movie length video. But anyway, the snails, that big bucket is about what I get out of the garden every day. Now, since I started this video, it's actually been a couple of weeks. It's been pretty well pouring most days, and I haven't been able to get down into the chook pen and do much more on the compost, and it's really saturated. The ground here is just so wet. It's only, the groundwater is actually only a few inches under the ground, and basically it's percolating up through the soil and into, like, in and under everything. We're not as bad off here as other people, so I thank my lucky stars there. But it's still tough. But the snails, yeah, that bucket full is what I get out pretty much every day for the last few weeks. So there is absolutely millions of them here. Anyway, so that's where I'm going to cut this video off, and I hope you liked what I brought to you today. If you did, please consider giving me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And if you like the content that I bring you, think about subscribing, and that would be wonderful. Anyway, I'll catch you again soon, and bye for now, folks.